Today we're going to show you how to replace the battery in a Porsche 955. I think it's probably pretty close for the other ones too. But before we go too much further, I'm Justin.
And I am Aaron.
And this is Husman Bros. Please subscribe for more great videos like this. So, someone asked in the comments, what's maintenance like on this thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. What is maintenance like on your car and why are we doing it?
Well, the Tom Sawyer principle continues to hold, so we're doing that. But everything is for video. I don't do anything unless it's on video. But maintenance has not been that bad so far, except I have a dead battery. Cousin Rob is not sure if we have a parasitic drain. We're not sure exactly why it happened, but the battery's stone dead. So we thought we'd take the opportunity to show you what it takes to replace a battery on that.
Not only that, but we're also going to need to test the battery to confirm or deny that you do have a parasitic drain.
Hopefully not. This truck has left me stranded exactly once, and I don't want it to happen again. So let's go see what they're up to over here.
But it wouldn't be the first parasite you had. So Justin, where is the battery in here?
It is inside the car.
Got it. Let's go.
We have Cousin Tom, who you all know. Look at his face, he's excited about this. I have, again, Tom Sawyered him into doing this. He actually has guests at home, and he's out here messing with my car. What a good cousin. Now, Tom, what are you doing? We put a new battery in here. What are you up to?
We're looking for a parasitic battery drain.
Are you finding any?
We are not finding anything. So the previous battery was faulty.
You think it was just a bad battery? That was less than a year old.
It could have been a bad battery. It could have been a dome light was left on. I mean, there's multiple reasons why it could have died, but a lot of times batteries, when they get down to a certain voltage, cannot be recovered.
Really? Okay. So we think this is okay. You don't think there's anything more to do with this than just install the seat and be done with it?
No, I mean, as long as you drive it on a regular basis, I mean,
And
we're getting 300 milliamps right now.
So I let this sit for a week when I went on vacation. Would this be enough to have killed that battery during that week?
It's possible. It also depends on, what the battery level was when you parked it.
When I parked it. Because
Yes.
I don't drive it very much. I drive it a little bit every day, but not very much. But this is not enough to kill it just in general. It looks like it's going down as well.
It is. I mean, as the different systems actually go to sleep, it actually goes down. One thing about Porsches in general, to make sure that you actually lock the car to actually have the different control systems shut off to conserve battery.
Okay. And so what are you just hooked up to the battery in the car here? What are you hooked up to figure out how it's draining?
So I have my voltmeter set to amperage mode, and I have one terminal of the voltmeter connected to the positive lead of the battery and the other one to the positive battery cable to measure how much current is being drawn by the vehicle.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Tom. We'll put it back together, I guess, and see what happens. I had to jump start this morning because this battery was flat dead. I went on a week vacation and came back and it was dead. And so it ran really badly. And I asked Rob and Tom, is there some trick to it? But really the secret is you've got to switch it out quick because these cars are so power hungry, it'll just go bonkers if it's too low. When this car first stalled and died, it was giving me all kinds of four-wheel drive and lift system alarms, which really made me worried. But then I realized my battery is just going bad. So the secret to this is switch it out quickly. The getting to it is the hardest part of this whole thing, but switch it out quickly so that you don't have such a rough start when it goes. It's gonna run rough when we start it up again, but it will relearn and it'll be fine. So once we hook this back up, it's not gonna run well, but it's gonna run rough because the whole ECU has to relearn how it works. These cars are so power hungry, it needs all the juice it has. So if you're doing this, you have to switch it out quickly, but don't be surprised if the car doesn't run well when you put the battery back in. So we had to replace the battery today because it got down below 11 volts. Once one of these modern AGM batteries or lead acid batteries gets that low, it's just cooked and you've got to replace it. Now this one was less than a year old. Like Tom said, we're not sure if this was something I did, even though I don't think so, though they keep accusing me of doing stuff, leaving things on, but
Pretty sure it's something you did.
So either way, the battery is dead. Thank goodness it was less than a year old, completely under warranty, so we got it replaced. We're gonna button it back up now so you can see exactly how to replace the battery if you have to do this on your own, and that's what we're gonna do now.
So we've already had to remove the seat to access the battery because as you've heard, the battery with some issues. But we thought we'd give you a quick tutorial on actually how you remove the seat. So there's 4 bolts. It's these infamous triple square bolts. You need special tools for this. Let me tell you, with these bolts, you really don't want to strip the threads. If you do, it makes it really, really hard. So you have to be really gentle with these bolts and make sure you use the proper tool. So there's 4 bolts. There's 2 in the front and 2 in the back. To get to the front, you have to take the seat all the way back. So that gives you a chance to access these 2 bolts here. And then when that's done, you slide the backrest all the way forward and then the seat all the way forward, and that gives you access to the 2 rear bolts. So we will for sure link to the triple square sockets below. This is commonly available on Amazon. But on the interior rear bolt, you need to use something very shallow like this to be able to get to it, because there's not a lot of clearance. So make sure you do that. Once the bolts are out, you can move the seat back. The seat's pretty heavy, so it helps to have an assistant kind of help you scooch the seat back to where it's out of the way. And then what you're going to be faced with is basically this cover. There's a small air conditioning duct that needs to be removed. I'll show you that on the reversal, and I'll show you how to put it back in. Then there's 4 clamps that hold this down. It just lifts right off. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to reconnect the battery. It was disconnected for some additional testing. We'll go ahead and reconnect that. There's also inside, if you want to bring the camera in here, there's 2 brackets that hold the battery in place. There's one here. It's held down by a 10 millimeter socket. And then there's a pin, which is also connected to a clamp, and it's a 10 millimeter socket as well. It's actually pretty easy to take both of those out. I would make sure that this bolt's really snug. The German torque setting, Gutentight, is perfectly acceptable. Also make sure that this one's nice and snug too. Not too much, because it will actually start to bend the clamps themselves, but you do want to make sure that they're snug so that you get a good secure connection to the battery itself. So, okay, now that we've got the battery, it's clamped in, the negative and positive are on, we're gonna go ahead and put this cover on. The cover just slides right on top. Then as you can see, there's 4 clamps. The front 2, super easy to get to, just like that. The back 2 do take a little bit of fiddling. All right, so back on. Now I've got this cover, which is part of the air conditioning system. So it's going to then slot right on here. Let me make sure I got that on. There we go. And there should be a small Torx screw right in there, the black one. We'll go ahead and hand thread that, and then I'll take my socket. It requires, I believe, a T20. I'll validate that here in just a second. So it's a T20, Torx 20. We'll just go ahead and hand tighten this just to where it's just snug. And that's all she wrote. Now we're ready to actually put the seat back onto the rails and connect the four bolts, which are our triple square bolts. I will say, Justin could probably do a little vacuuming in here. It's looking a little nasty, but you know.
He could probably do it.
Yeah, probably do it.
But I'm betting he
won't. But he probably won't.
Guys, you're making me feel bad. I'm going to get the vacuum.
Actually, in that case, let's wait a minute. So one of the challenges with the Porsche electrical system is it's very power hungry. Everything's drive-by-wire in the car. So it requires a lot of, there's a lot of systems that support that. One of the telltale signs that a battery's going bad is you start seeing unexpected lights on your dashboard. Maybe the key is hard to remove. Some of the equipment, it gets a little wonky. The vehicle may even start running roughly. And you think, oh my God, what's going on? Yeah, chances are it's a dying or bad battery. Now, one of the challenges with these lead acid and AGM batteries is if they get below 11 volts, they're never going to recover. So it doesn't matter how many times you try to cycle them and charge them, they're never coming back. So anything below 11 volts, you need to replace it. And this is, in particular, this is a group 48 or 49 battery, so it's very heavy. So it's not for the faint of heart to lift it out. It helps to have somebody that's really pumped up in good shape like Justin. But really, you want to make sure that the battery is fresh and good in this car. Now, when you do replace the battery, there's kind of that magic time. If you do it in like 5 to 10 minutes, all the systems should retain their memory settings and it should run fine. If it's longer than that, because obviously we had to go and get this battery tested in our case, and it was out for a couple hours, just know that when you start the car, good chance there's going to be maybe some additional lights and maybe a little bit of roughness, but as all the systems relearn, everything should smooth out and you'll be fine. So one of the things is that you really want to take care of your battery, have good maintenance. If it's going to be sitting for a while, put it on a charger, put it on a trickle charger. There's a lot of good ones on the market, and we can put some links down below and some of the ones that we like. The reason why we want to do that is the battery in this, it's a big one, and it's pretty expensive. They run about $250, and that's for an AGM battery, so not even lithium ion. So another thing that helps with Porsche systems is that if you leave the car on, there's always going to be a little bit of power consumption. So even in your own garage at night, go ahead and lock the car, because it puts the car to sleep, and that will save wear and tear on the battery.
And here we find the rare beast doing something unique you never see: cleaning.
So after you replace the battery and after you connect it back up, you're gonna first thing you're gonna want to do is start it, but don't start it right away, because you need to let the throttle body learn. So it needs to spend about a minute just going through its cycle. You'll hear it doing some clicking. We had a lot of background noise, so it's pretty faint, but you will hear it. After about a minute, you can go ahead and start the car. If the car continues to run rough, go ahead and stop it. Let the throttle body try to relearn again. But that is a key part of this whole process. And in case I didn't mention, when the throttle body is going through its learning cycle, it's with key on. Don't start it, but make sure the key is on to the accessory position. That way the electrical system is active. And then after that, we're going to start it and see how it runs. We expect that it's going to run a little shaky at the beginning, but it should smooth out as all the systems relearn. Yeah, it's running really good. It started right up. It took it a couple of tries just because I think we're resetting and relearning, but I think we should be good. I'm going to turn it off, let it rest for a minute, and then try to start it again.
Sounds pretty good to me, doesn't it?
That sounds and really, I didn't see anything that we're not used to seeing. We know that the tire pressure monitoring system's off. We did get a fault, but it immediately cleared. So once again, stuff has to relearn and reset.
Okay, good deal. Look for a video of me learning how to set the clock on this thing next. That's how you change the battery. It's a lot of work. I'm going to make a suggestion to Porsche in Germany. Maybe fewer beers at lunchtime so the battery's in a more accessible place. If you like the shirts that Aaron and I are wearing, check out our shop down below. I'm looking forward to driving this again, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.